wondering where you are, and it gets so hard when the lights go dark. Tell me something, but I'm feeling the same. But girl, without you, nothing's going my way. Try to hide those parts, camouflage the heart. I'm in a headspace, and it's so long. Is it too late? Baby, baby, I just want you back. It was the best that I've ever had. And everywhere I go, see your face. Tell me, is it too late? Baby, baby, I just want you back. It was the best that I've ever had. And I'm just hoping that it wasn't your way. Tell me, is it too late? I see a shadow in the morning light. All the shapes are playing tricks on my mind, and I'm lost in doubt. Has the tide gone out? Daydreaming about the summer with you. Pick you up and drive around for a few in the ocean air. In your golden hair. I'm in a headspace, and it's so long. Is it too late? Baby, baby, I just want you back. It was the best that I've ever had. And everywhere I go, I see your face. Tell me, is it too?
On this week's edition of Coyote Nation TV, find out more about why students are upset about the change in graduation locations and get to know the essentials our students use for ceramics. Today is May 9th, 2025, and CNTV Live starts now. Hey Coyotes, I'm Kaylin Johnson, and welcome to today's show. With only a week and a half left of the school year, the countdown until graduation is on. And while the location is locked in, it sparked a mix of reactions from students who are expecting something a little bit different for their big day. So, CNTV's Kaylee Downs gives us more on what's causing the concern.
12 years, 2,160 days, 15,120 hours, all for this moment. To walk that stage and take that diploma. Students like Manogna Bedu have sat by, seeing their friends cross that stage, waiting for their turn.
I waited for 4 years, studied, and I think that it's going to be a lot of fun getting to graduate with my friends.
For the past 5 years, Heritage High School seniors have been graduating at the Ford Center at the Star. But this year, things are changing. One person who is helping figure out how these changes will work is HHS's assistant principal, Mr. Hooten.
This year, it's a 6-and-6 split, so half the schools will be at the Star, and then half the schools will be at a different stadium.
This year, Heritage seniors will be graduating at the Comerica Center. The split between the different venues happened for a number of reasons.
So previously, like last year, Heritage had an 8 a.m. graduation on a weekend. And so that doesn't really work well with people's schedules if they're coming in front of town to see their student graduate. So this was to my understanding, was the best way the district could do it, to where everyone would get a time slot that was fair as far as family logistics go, and it also allows more people to attend per student for the graduation.
One concern people have with graduating at the Comerica Center instead of the Star is the lack of space outside the venue for pictures and the lack of restaurants within walking distance.
I think that one of the more fun parts of graduation that I was really excited for was being able to go out with my friends afterwards. And as I've gone to the Star before, and me and my friends, we've walked around and everything. So that part I'm a little sad about, because I don't know if it'll be as convenient.
But former Heritage teacher and Frisco ISD parent, Ms. Hollowell, has seen both her students and her children graduate at both places and sees the advantages of having a smaller venue.
I kind of like the intimacy of Comerica and being in that little bit smaller space and being able to see everyone. You're closer to your child. You can see them, they see you. Where at the Star, it's sometimes hard to find, as they're looking around for you. So personally, Comerica is probably would be my preferred venue.
Being with your loved Ones to celebrate is a big part of graduation. And some believe as long as you have that, where the celebration happens doesn't matter.
I think that as long as I'm with like the people that I love and as long as we're surrounded by where we are, I don't think it'll matter too much where we graduate.
I'm Keely Downs with Coyote Nation TV.
Graduation may be just around the corner, but for some students, it's not just the location that's on their minds, but rather what they'll be wearing when they walk the stage. That moment of recognition means a lot, and for some students, that includes stoles, like the ones awarded to members of the National Honor Society. The program highlights leadership, service, and academics. But recently, questions have come up about whether all of the members are meeting the service requirement. So, I caught up with a few of the NHS officers who opened up about their concerns surrounding volunteer hours.
Frisco ISD approved hours.
Every 9 weeks, 200 juniors and seniors with a 4.0 GPA meet through a student-led organization to plan ways to give back. That organization is the National Honor Society, or NHS, a nationwide program that gives students the chance to show strong scholarship, leadership, service, and character. As a part of their program, members must complete a certain amount of volunteer hours during the year. NHS officers like Nandini Gandaru keep track of these hours.
We ask for 10 hours to be FISD related. So they work with like an FISD teacher or an FISD club. And then the other 10 hours can be from anything else in their community. And towards the end of the year, we're going to send out a form that we check that they're going to have like all the hours that they did, where they got the hours, and like a contact. They're going to give us a phone number, email, name, whatever, where we can go and cross-check their hours.
With so many volunteer hour submissions coming in at the end of the year, NHS President Jamie Ali has found that checking everyone's hours isn't as simple as it may seem.
We have a good officer team full of 8 members. We have the big 4 positions, and then we have 4 ambassadors. Unfortunately, we're also part-time students, so it's kind of hard to sift through, especially we have, I think, almost 200 to 300 members. And so making sure that and verifying that there's 20 hours for each person is especially challenging.
But keeping track of everyone's volunteer hours is only half of the problem. NHS co-sponsor Kate Newman has to be mindful when students aren't being as truthful as they should be.
I mean, in all walks of my educational life, I come across students, the few being dishonest. We have kind of verifiable data in place, so we can just check in on it if anything looks, and then we'll handle it from there, whether that's a disciplinary or just addressing with the student.
Though it can be hard to check if students are being honest about their hours, there might be a way to offer a bit more support and keeping track of them.
So there's 8 officers, there's 2 sponsors. I'm open to more sponsors if there were teachers on campus that were like, I would like to be involved. That'd be great.
I'm Kaylin Johnson with Coyote Nation TV. On clubs and organizations, there are other extracurriculars that allow students to tap into their creativity and make an impact, whether that's through clubs, sports, or other activities. But in the world of art, students are making their mark in a different way. So, CNTV's Shweta Kunder takes us through the 5 essentials our student Dominic King uses to bring his sculptures to life.
I personally use this a lot, but not a lot of other students use this. Hi, my name is Dominic. I'm a student AP 3D, and these are the 5 essentials to making sculptures. My first essential is the scraper tool. This is very good for making a smooth surface where you need it to be. Just kind of a rough draft of how you want things to be. My second essential is a spray bottle. So when you use the scraper tool, it'll leave a lot of holes or bevels in the area that you're smudging. So what you want to do is take your finger, ever so slightly, spray it on, or you can spray the whole sculpture itself. You go in and you smooth it, so your finger creates a smooth surface where it needs to be. My third essential is the rubber tip tool. Now, I personally use this a lot, but not a lot of other students use this. For my kind of sculptures, it's good for making good edges where your fingers don't quite get the smoothness you need, because you don't want it to be flat. but you want a good edge and getting form to what you want. And this is good for small areas as well. My fourth essential is the needle tool. It's especially useful for where the rubber tip tool can't quite get the job done. So small areas like underneath the eyelid where you want a bevel above the eye and the lid. You can also use it to stipple to make some of the pores that you see on the nose or stubble that you see on the chin. You can also use this to make the streak lines on the lips, just all the small details that you can't get from the tip tool. My fifth and final essential is watercolors. So a lot of people, when they have fired objects, they'll use glaze, which I personally don't use, because when you use glaze, you paint it and it'll look a certain color, but when it's fired, it won't be that color. So I use watercolors because you can stain. These were my 5 essentials for ceramics. Have fun, make art, and that's all. Thank you for joining.
May is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, a time to honor the history, achievements, and vibrant cultures of the AAPI communities. To shine a light on that diversity, CNTV's Brianka Johnson takes us through the traditions and stories that make these cultures so unique.
I'm Indian and I'm from the southern part of India and I speak Telugu.
My ethnicity is Filipino, from the Philippines.
There's this dish called pulihora, which is basically lemon rice. It's very common. It's like a staple breakfast.
Most eat sinigang, which is a soup accompanied by vegetables and either meat or fish.
Every single time I think about my language, my parents were super serious about making sure that I knew my language and knew how to speak Telugu growing up.
We are very family orientated, that even if we're not related, they'll always be there to support you.
Deepavali, which is Diwali. We light up candles, candle type stuff, and fireworks. Yeah.
We have our own Independence Day on June 12th to celebrate our separation from Spain.
I feel like in Frisco we do a really good job of having a community, at least for my culture. And I think it's a very strong community, and I think it's going to do well in the future as well.
Directing with our mouths instead of our hands, so when they point, they'd purse their lips and point at an object.
America is a very diverse place, and I feel like America is built up on the foundation that we are a very diverse nation. So with that being said, having a month where we just kind of make sure that every single culture is represented is super nice to have.
It's important because we need to recognize that there are many different countries in different parts of Asia that aren't recognized on the daily.
Hopefully that gave you all a closer look at the AAPI heritage and the ways it's celebrated. Now, as we continue to look through the many voices that shape our community, it's also important to stay in the loop on what's going on around campus. So here's CNTV's Shraddha Kunder with this week's edition of Heritage Heads Up. Hey Coyote, welcome to this week's Heritage Heads Up. We only have 2 more weeks left until school ends, so in spirit of that, many fine arts departments have taken their spring trip, such as the Heritage Choir, who recently came back from their spring trip to Amarillo with the title of Best Overall Choir in the Greater Southwest Music Festival. So let's congratulate all 17 singers who are up on the screen right now. Now to an event taking place at the Heritage Library. Today is the last day all students and staff can vote for their favorite works of art, made by the National Art Honor Society for their Spring Art Showcase. They worked hard all year to showcase their favorite works of art, so make sure to come and support and vote. Our last announcement before we get into the reminders is the Coyote Film Productions Short Film Screenings Meeting. This will take place next Wednesday after school in room A123. If you would like your short film to be screened, make sure to join the Remind at Coyote FI and submit it before next Wednesday. Moving on to our reminders, all runners and running enthusiasts, if you're interested in joining the Heritage Cross Country team, remember to fill out the interest form located on these posters. Next week will be the final week of AP testing. So let me give you a few reminders. Students will receive an email with their AP test room and other details no later than 24 hours prior to each exam. Students with an AM exam, you must arrive on campus by 7:35 a.m. and bus transportation will not be available. Students with an afternoon exam, you must bring your own lunch as the cafeteria will not be open prior to your exam. If you have any more questions, make sure to go check your email or check out our Instagram at Coyote Nation TV to see the full AP testing schedule. Lastly, as the school year comes to an end, seniors, it is time to turn in your Chromebooks. So here are a few reminders before you turn them in. First, make sure your Chromebook is updated to the latest version, and second, make sure you play a YouTube video to see if your audio works. Next, if anything needs to be fixed, make a note of it. And lastly, remove any personal stickers or labels, but keep any Frisco ISD labeling in place. If you lost your Chromebook or charger, make sure to email Mr. Myers so the replacement fee can be added to your online school fees account. Next Tuesday and Wednesday, you can turn in your Chromebooks into room C100 during your English classes. All other days, you can turn them in to Miss McCoy's office in the Heritage Library. That's all I have for this week's edition of Heritage Heads Up. Now let's tune back into Caitlin. Thanks, Shraddha. Coyotes, we're almost towards the end of our show. But if you've been following us on our Instagram page at Coyote Nation TV, you would have seen that we posted our Little Baby ticket giveaway campaign. So if you'd like the chance at winning the tickets, be sure to follow us on our Instagram page and scan the QR code. On the QR code, there will be a Google form. And on the Google form, be sure to tell us how Heritage has made a positive impact on you. Now, after that, make sure that you're following us, because if you're not following us, then you won't be able to win the tickets. The winners will be announced next Friday during the spring game. Well, that's all I have for today's show, but I hope you guys have a great Friday and an even better weekend. I'm Kaylin Johnson, and you stay classy, Coyotes.